guys, to Chat from the Mat. Today, unfortunately, I'm not joined by Coach Wiz. However, we have an amazing guest with us today. That is the Director of Education, Mr. Tez Shackleton-Andrews. Hello, Terence. How are you?
Hello, Charlie. I am good. Out here in Florida, enjoying the lovely weather. For a change, it has been a little bit cloudy this week, but the sun is out.
The sun is out, and we're out in it, enjoying it, which is lovely. So, for those that don't necessarily know who you are, could you, in 45 seconds, summarise yourself? I know it may take a bit longer, but
45 seconds.
Who are you and what do you do?
All right, so as you said, I am the Director of Education for BCA. I joined BCA Cheer and Dance in 2012, having been an athlete and a coach since 2006. Started cheer at University of Plymouth, where I then quickly became very passionate about it. It was a really good, at the time, it was just a hobby. When I moved back to Leeds, joined an Allstar team then, and here we are, nearly 20 years later.
2 decades.
Yeah, 2 decades later. In that time, I've participated a lot in the sport. I've competed myself in America 3 different times, including the World Championships in 2014 with Rising Stars Midnight in the Co-Ed 5 division. I've also competed in Level 7, what is Level 7 now, but back in that time it was Level 6, at European Championships in 7 different countries, I want to say now.
Oh, wow.
I was part of Team England POM coaching team, where we also took Team England POM to the European Championships too. Got a lot of experience as an athlete, as a coach. Similar athlete experience in that I've taken a lot of teams to various nationals, international events as well. I coach for a program in Leicester on a weekly basis, coaching Level 3 and Level 5.
Amazing. Well, thank you for that insight into who you are and what you do. But we on this podcast, as you know, we do have a little feature, and it is Rapid Fire. But first, let's play the theme tune. Rapid Fire! 3, 2, 1, it's answer time! So, here we go. It is Rapid Fire questions. First thing out the mind. Are you ready?
All right, let's do it.
Jazz, hip-hop or POM?
POM.
Technique or performance quality?
Technique.
Clean routine or crowd reaction moment?
Oh, that's difficult. Crowd reaction.
Oh, okay. World stage or any other competition?
World stage.
Sharp and precise or fluid and expressive?
Sharp and precise.
Counts or musicality first?
Counts.
Training day or competition day?
Competition day.
Winning or hitting your best routine?
Hitting your best routine.
Choreography first or music first?
Choreography first.
Strict training or creative freedom?
Strict training.
Classic style or pushing trends?
I'm very classic style.
Yeah, okay. Formation changes or standout solo moments?
Formation changes.
Team unity or individual stars?
Team unity.
Early morning rehearsals or late night practices?
Late night.
Drill it or run it full out?
Drill it.
Nervous before going on or excited adrenaline?
Excited adrenaline.
Clean turns or powerful jumps?
Clean turns.
Judges score or audience reaction?
Judges score.
UK comps or international comps?
Can I say both?
I suppose it has its different.
Yeah, both are very different. Very different. Obviously, as an EP, I would have to say UK comps.
No, that's brilliant. Well done. That is the quickest rapid fire we've had so far.
Yeah, smashed it.
Yeah, man. And today, what we're going to do is basically ask you a few questions that have come in from our audience to understand a little bit more on scoring. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, from your experience, you've been judging for quite a while, so you've got some.
I started judging roughly around about 2014.
Oh, okay.
I've also been head judge for other EPs. I generally now, rather than actually judge myself on panel, along with Travis, we run our coach's corner section. So we generally will take charge of if a coach gets a deduction or a legality, we will then go over that deduction and legality with them, either explain why it was a deduction, why it was a legality, or if we don't think that the judge was like 100% correct, we'll obviously then go discuss that with the judge too. And then again, it's all about education at this stage on what those judges are calling and how can we help the actual coaches to improve and move forward in the season.
Yeah, amazing. So it's fair to say you're a bit knowledgeable on this subject then.
I mean, everyone always has opportunity to learn, and I feel like I'm still learning as we go along. But I have spent a lot of time learning from a lot of other people and built my own knowledge base to where I'm fairly confident now that I can answer most questions on legalities, safety, and deductions, especially.
Amazing. So, like, based on we use comparative at BCA. So, based on that, we'll do the answers from the questions that have come in. So, starting off, like, could you explain for complete beginners what the judges are looking for? Like, how many judges and what do they all focus on?
So generally there's anywhere between 4, maybe more judges. For our events especially, we would have a building judge, you would have a tumble judge, and you would have an overall judge. So your building judge will be purely focused on the stunting side, so the stunts, the pyramid. Some competitions may also split those judges between difficulty and technique. For most of our competitions, it's one judge who will do building difficulty and technique. Same for your tumble judge, you've got a difficulty aspect, then you've got the technique side of it. Your overall judge is more looking at the routine creativity, the dance difficulty, the dance technique. They're looking at formations and spacing within the routine. And then they're looking for overall performance. So yeah, four different judges, 3 to 4 different judges. You then obviously have your safety and deductions judge, who are, like I said, they're looking for any moves that are not actually allowed within that level, and assessing any falls or errors made by the team for the deduction side.
So it seems to be we are in a flight path, guys. So if you do hear planes, that is why. So 4 judges and then safety.
For us, it'll be 3 judges and a safety.
Okay.
Yep.
So, and then when people are at competitions, they'll see more people than that on a judge's station because we've got multiple panels.
So again, depending on the size of the actual competition itself, there may be 2 judging panels, so like A and B. There may be 3 judging panels, so A, B, C. For our world's divisions that are very heavily populated right now, we will split into categories. So you might have one judge that only does building difficulty, one will do technique. So therefore that panel will actually have, 6 judges instead of the usual 3.
Yeah, no, amazing. So that's why people may see multiple people on that stand.
And some events also might have rolling judging panels.
Yeah.
So it might look like some judges are not actually judging at that time, and it could be because they're waiting to then sub in once a division has finished, and then they will judge the new division, something like that.
Yeah. Okay. That question was from Melanie Osborne, so shout out to Melanie. Thank you very much for that. Next question for you is, what is a judge's most common advice given?
I would say for a lot of teams, it's focus on technique. We do see a lot of teams that seem to be trying to push difficulty over technique. On our score sheet especially, your technique is worth just as much. But if you hit a nice clean routine, you're likely to score better in other areas. So the overall judge, for instance, is also going to then look at that and go, okay, well, that routine was so much better because it was clean, it was executed better. So I would say most judges probably would say focus on your technique, add in difficulty as that technique improves.
Okay, amazing. Good answer, like it. Next one up for you. How much influence does the end dance have on the score? It always feels fun and great ending to a routine, but does it matter?
Yeah, absolutely, it does matter. It is part of the score sheet. Like I said, you have that overall judge who their job is to look at dance section. Everyone's very different on how they choreograph the dance, but for our score sheet, there's 5 points for dance difficulty, and then 5 points for dance execution. So a total of 10 points again, just from what is effectively 8 counts at the end of the routine. So yeah, it definitely does matter. It does have a huge influence. It's usually where you can get all of the crowd engaged right at the end. It definitely has a huge influence. It has become more and more energetic, a lot more fast-paced over the years as well.
And it's like you said, like the crowd reaction is great to see on an end dance, isn't it? Everyone's clapping along to the beat.
Yeah. My advice would be sit down with your parents and have a session where we learn how to clap in time. that is the hardest thing from a judge when the audience is clapping out of time, and it is a little bit distracting, but obviously the audience can get a bit overexcited sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Love it.
definitely does matter because it is a huge section on the score sheet still.
Yeah, oh, amazing. Well, thank you for that answer. Now, going into a competition as someone that wouldn't, well, a brand new spectator, they're going to see the judges panel, they're going to see loads of laptops and then iPads everywhere. So, like this question, do you mark on what you see live, or do you review the video afterwards before reaching a definite score? Or definitive score, sorry.
So, every judge is different. A lot of judges will script the routine as they go along. So if I was the building judge, for instance, I would watch the stunts, I would script them down, and then I use that script to give my range. So for comparative score sheet, we have a range system. So once they're in the high range, I would then look at that difficulty within what I've scripted. I then give them a score, and then I compare that again to the team that comes next in their division. So I can go back and change my scores if I need to. So if the next team comes out, for instance, and adds more difficulty or has more user participation, their pace is faster, the connection of level appropriate, non-level appropriate skills within their sections is better, then I can go back and lower the score from the previous one. But yeah, a lot of judges will judge it live as it happens and then go back through the division before they finalise, just to make sure that they're happy with the rankings from there.
You kind of already answered this. Do you score similar to gymnastics, i.e. difficulty and execution?
Yes and no. So, like I said, there is the difficulty side. So all of the skills effectively will be kind of deemed either more difficult or less difficult, depending on how they're performed, what's the actual element of the skill. However, the biggest difference from gymnastics is each skill doesn't really have a value to it. So there are some score sheets in circulation now what are kind of doing that. But for a comparative score sheet, it's more about how you utilise those skills within your level, as opposed to, well, this one was a lot harder than this one. But it is still split between difficulty and then technique is completely separate.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. How do you keep competitions fair when you often have elite athletes with experience and ability of keeping at higher levels, crossing over to lower levels?
Okay, so I think this is all about kind of a mindset right now. Like, there is no real rules regarding, say, a level 5 athlete, for instance, being on a level 2 or a level 3 team. It's actually a lot fairer than people think because you're only judged at that level.
Yeah.
So if I was a level 5 athlete and let's say I could tumble all the way through to a full twist, if I then joined a level 3 team, the maximum I can do is a running through to a tuck. So even though, yes, I can compete higher level, I can still only compete skills within that level. So that's generally how the division itself is still fair in that instance.
Because you are restricted on the skills you can perform.
Certain athletes might be more experienced, but yeah, unless there's some rule that actually comes into place that says you cannot cross over to any other level, then I think some people are going to see it as it is unfair. But similar, you could say, well, this athlete on this level 3 team has been on this level 3 team for 4 years. So are they more experienced at that level 3 than a brand new level 3? But they're still doing the same allowance. They're still not able to do any more than what is allowed in that level.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, so you are restricted on what you can do. Yeah,
so the way the level system works, every athlete is restricted.
Yeah.
So having a more experienced tumbler, for instance, who can tumble at higher level, doesn't necessarily make it an advantage for a lower level team.
Yeah.
It just means their technique may be expected to be a lot cleaner than someone who is new to that level.
Next one in for you. For pyramid, does it matter how many groups perform level appropriate skills?
On a comparative score sheet, it does.
Okay.
So generally on a comparative score sheet, like I said, you're going to be judged against teams in your division only. So you're not going to be judged against everyone else at the event. So let's say we're talking, again, level 3. So every team that comes out is going to put out what they can achieve. Now, if you've got a team of 20 athletes on the floor, for instance, and you're coming out and you've only got 3 groups doing pyramid, that means effectively you've got a lot of athletes that you're not utilising. So on a comparative score sheet, the more participation you have, especially in pyramid, is going to help boost your driver difficulties once you're in that high range for that pyramid. The more flyers you have in the air is going to seem deemed more difficult. The less number of bases you have is going to be deemed more difficult. So yeah, the more groups, the more participation, the less number of bases. But then also there are other factors, like I said, the pace and connection. How fast does it move? Are we holding certain skills for a certain number of counts? Are we doing different level system within that pyramid? So there are a lot of different factors that come into play when it's a comparative score sheet, but participation of athletes is probably the biggest one.
Yeah. Amazing. I hope that clears it up for those that inputted that question. And right, this one, last one for you, this has come from Paul K, so shout out to Paul. During the last couple of years of competition, what are the most common things that team drop points on? Or for?
I would say technique, definitely, especially on a comparative score sheet, because the technique points are so high. On other score sheets, you've kind of got a set amount and then you lose points based on small errors. But on a comparative score sheet, the range is still, it's still a big range. So I'd say a lot of teams are still not maxing out on a comparative for technique, which again kind of tells me that we're focusing too much on the difficulty aspects and not enough on the actual execution side.
Yeah.
That's also then evident in if a team's getting multiple deductions, then obviously it means that the skills were too difficult for them to execute every single time. Also then means their technique is going to be lower. The other area I think lacks a little bit right now is the overall section of the score sheet. So really focusing on the cleanliness of formation changes, the fluidity of actual transitions within the routine. We're getting kind of very boxy routines, not utilizing all of the floor. Everything is very in the middle of the mat. So choreographing the whole routine to just the 5 mats rather than utilizing the whole floor, not working out creative angles or patterns within the routine. So I do think the overall section is something that as an industry we could really start pushing a little bit more and start focusing on a bit more.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. Sorry, I've got another question and it's mainly from me. Obviously we've mentioned comparative scoring. There are other scoring systems in the UK. But from comparative, a little explanation on that. Is it you're basically comparing every routine against each other in that division? Mm-hmm. Is that effectively what it means?
Yeah, it's exactly that. So within a division, so let's say we're talking level 1. So under 16 level 1, that whole division will only be compared against each other. So we're not looking at, the under 12 level 1 did, all scored here. We're looking at what did that particular division, what did the teams in that division do, and that's how we rank teams for the rankings for that one division only. The only time, I guess, for us as an EP is when we're looking at our bid battle, for instance. Some of the teams are then ranked against each other from the world's perspective, just to make sure that the prize monies are going to the strongest teams. Because it is very difficult to compare like there's an all-girl team to a co-ed team, so we do have to then review those. But yeah, comparative generally is you are being compared to the team you are against in your division. What did your routine have that they didn't have, or was it all very similar skills, similar layout, similar routine put together, in which case that's probably why the scores generally look very similar too.
Amazing, thank you very much. So thanks for answering all those questions for us. Hopefully it gives a bit of insight to those that are listening to this on comparative scoring in the UK. We have got another feature in this podcast and it's called Allstar Brew, but first let's play the theme tune.
This is the Allstar Brew, hot takes breaking through, trends and changes, what's brand new, pour it out, we'll break it down for you. Allstar Brew.
Allstar Brew, upcoming news and events in our industry or in the BCA. You have a big one coming up in September. What is it, Terence?
So our annual coaches conference will be back on the 26th and 27th of September. This year is extremely exciting as we are going to be partnering with the Sharp Performance team from Canada, bringing the whole conference into one big weekend for cheer coaches, dance coaches. This year, even more special in that we've got a bigger athlete package. So we're going to actually have live athlete workshops in dance and live athlete workshops in cheer. There's going to be hopefully bigger vendor opportunities too. So for any vendors out there that are interested, please drop us an email into education@cheerleading.org.uk. Let us know, and we can get you guys involved too. But yeah, really excited about this one. The conference has been a really, really good hit for the last 3 years in multiple different locations. But this time we're bringing it all into one big cheer conference weekend in Loughborough.
Whoop whoop. Can you wait? Can you wait? No, it will be. It'll be really good. It's great to have Sharp Performance over collaborating this year.
Yeah, I'm excited. We had them over for our BCA Bid Battle and Super Classic event back in January.
The feedback was amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah, they did some routine reviews for some teams. We had a lot of good feedback. So I'm really excited to be working with those guys.
Yeah, it'd be great. It'd be great. Well, thank you very much for flying all the way out to Florida to do this podcast. It's
yeah, it was all good. It was a really nice flight.
Yeah, good. And yeah, thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you next time.